All right, hey everyone, and welcome to today's webinar titled Reduce Security Blind Spots and Enhance Your Availability with Corero Core. I'm Michael Honeycutt, Product Marketing Manager here at Corero Network Security, and today I have the privilege of being joined by our CTO, Ashley Stevenson. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Michael. No problem.
Awesome. All right, well, with that, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Introducing Core. Ashley, can you provide an overview of what this Core is? So, Corero, observability and resiliency ecosystem. What are its main goals for network security?
Yeah, so obviously we're having fun. It's a good play on the name Corero, but you're right. The letters do mean something. They stand for Corero, observability and resiliency ecosystem. So perhaps the first thing to note is that Core is not a singular solution, but rather our architecture and platform that we're going to use to leverage multiple products and technologies with the goal of delivering superior outcomes for our customers. The heart of the system is based around the idea of feeds leading to insights and generating signals. And I'll elaborate on that more as we go along, but it's a methodology we've been using internally at Corero for perhaps more than a decade now. I've been at Corero for 12 years, and it's something that has driven our product and solutions in their ability to deliver fast, automatic, and accurate DDoS protection for all of our customers worldwide. And so what we're hoping to do with the launch of Core is to expose that platform capability to more cyber threats and obviously to solve more customer problems. It's something we feel very confident has value outside of just the DDoS space. So we've always tried to leverage best of breed tools and technologies along the way. We're one player in a very big cybersecurity industry. And when we see a great tool or a great platform assist capability, we've leveraged it. We've been licensees of Splunk, for example. It's used internally in our product for over a decade. And similarly, a company called TailF, which became Cisco's NSO. We've used that technology also for about a decade now. On the outside, we've also integrated our solutions into hundreds of multi-vendor networks, data centers, cloud services across the globe. And that knowledge that we've used up to now to build our own products and deliver our own solutions, we're going to open that up with Core, with this observability and resiliency ecosystem to bring in more products and capabilities that we think will benefit our growing customer base. And that's really the meaning of the ecosystem letter in Core. We don't believe we can do everything the best. We're not a one-size-fits-all or a silver bullet company. We very much see ourselves as part of the overall cybersecurity defense in-depth approach that customers need to adopt. We imagine Core will grow to include feeds that we generate ourselves, like our existing threat intelligence feeds, but also feeds from third parties, alliance partners, feeds perhaps coming from the customer's existing infrastructure, bring them together to create richer insights that can then generate signals so that we can take action on behalf of the customer to make their deployments and their own infrastructures more secure and more resilient as we go forward.
This is really exciting, but I think a lot of people would have this next question in their mind. So, how does Core enhance existing security frameworks without adding complexity?
Yeah, that's a good question, because complexity is an understandable challenge for most modern security frameworks. This is difficult stuff, right? It challenges the brain, it challenges the network, it challenges the systems and services. So complexity and managing complexity is an important component of securing your offering.
Sure.
So a key value prop of Core is to try and boost security and availability using the products and infrastructure that you've already deployed, but do that in a way where you can incrementally analyze what your network or your services are telling you, and then use that to move forward to a higher state of availability, or increase the resiliency of your network, but also security and protecting your resources. Now, the complexity issue often arises when dissimilar systems are forced to work together, or new systems with new models and schemas have to be introduced. So what our integration experience has taught us, as I mentioned, over the past decade with all of these multi-vendor networks around the world, is you can do this in a way that is simpatico or friendly to the customer's environment, as opposed to with a mandate that makes them change or redesign or re-implement their network. So we very much see core as an incremental boost to your resiliency and availability, and not a rip and replace or a game change in terms of your approach. So we're going to try and manage complexity from that perspective, Michael. I hope that sort of gives some clues.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and it's a great segue to this question, because Eric Bretthauer from First Light, so he's got a question, and this is a good time to put this in here. He says, is this similar, or he asks, is this similar to our current NTD platforms with VNTD and VSWA, et cetera, as well? What's the new threat intelligence? Can we expand on that a little bit?
Yes, so it's as I mentioned, the techniques and architecture we've used are similar, but it's not that product. It's an additional capability that we're bringing to market that works alongside that product. Clearly, we see our own installations as a very important integration point for core, but it goes beyond that. So being a DDoS company, we're typically focused on what DDoS data we need to look at and taking actions on the customer's network that protects them against DDoS. But it turns out in the process of doing that, we learn a lot about the customer's network or the services they're offering, and we can provide them with a lot of peacetime or a non-DDoS insights into their network. And we can also improve the resiliency of their solutions, not so much from a DDoS attack capability, DDoS protection capability, but also from like a link overload point of view, or from a service degradation point of view. So we're taking those techniques that we've used in the past for DDoS detection and protection, and we're expanding them to look at a broader spectrum of availability, observability, and resiliency factors for the customer's solution. So it uses some of the same underlying principles, but delivers them to a broader set of problems.
Fantastic. Eric, thanks so much for that question. So let's move on. We've talked about complexity. Let's talk about the business benefit of this. So the cloud-based model, right, of core. So how does the subscription-based model offer flexibility for other different business needs, particularly for a service provider?
Yeah, one of the things we've learned in our growth, of our current business, is that customers are very good at explaining what they need or what they want to enhance their offerings, their own offerings, that is. And sometimes they pointed to monolithic products and they say, I need some of those features of that product. So this would be another vendor's product in the marketplace in the cybersecurity space, or they might explain how they wish they had an additional capability that's similar to something we've been doing in the DDoS world, but maybe is in an over-the-top traffic perspective. So one of the things we want to do with Core is give our customers, both current customers and our future customers, access to some of those observability and resiliency-based features, just what they need. This is very much, I think, an approach where 20% of the functionality of some of those other products might deliver 80% of the value to the customer. And because we have the core platform, in place, we're able to deliver that incremental value to customers without them having to adopt wholesale a whole new product line or train up on a whole new set of technologies. So it's something that we've used, as I say, in our own development and support world, and we think it's going to have value to our current and future customers as well in the same way. The SaaS style model is excellent for delivering, those powerful capabilities. You benefit from the scale of the overall solutions that are used by many people. So this is multi-tenant in nature, but you get access to what you need on a pay-as-you-go kind of basis, Michael.
Yeah, and you're kind of answering this. Eric is back with another question. Is this an add-on for our current DDoS platform, all of our NTDs, et cetera?
Yeah, this is a system that you can have function in addition to what you've got. And it integrates with what you've got, but it doesn't, for a new customer, it doesn't require them to look just like you. So
Right.
some of the capabilities of Core are non-DDoS. So they'll have appeal to non-DDoS customers. But if you are one of our DDoS customers, then yes, all the Core capabilities will be accessible to you.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. So let's move on to
obviously, sorry, just to clarify, obviously on as a pay-as-you-go
No,
basis. You know what I mean? You don't have to buy the whole thing. You buy what you need out of the Core portfolio.
great point. I'm glad you chimed in with that. So let's move on to threat intelligence and real-time defense. So what role does human expertise play alongside automated defenses in Core's threat intelligence capabilities?
Yeah. So humans, yeah, and particularly cybersecurity trained humans are in short supply worldwide, and they have been for a decade. But the reason they're in short supply is they are a critical piece of the solution for any cybersecurity vendor. We're all super excited about the progress being made in AI and machine learning, and something that's been dear to my heart for many years as a scientist by original training. The role of the human in threat intelligence, or in what the work we've done in DDoS defense, and also the offerings we have in the core Corero core kind of environment, it's not going away. But what we want to do is use it where it's most effective and where it's most needed. So our systems that we've deployed, over the last 10 years, they typically, over time achieve about 98% fully automated detection, mitigation and protection of DDoS attacks. That's something we've always strived for, and things that allow you to be that automatic are accuracy. If your system's accurate, then it's safe to automate. You don't run the risk of false positives. If you, again, looking over time and, millions of attacks, there's another 2%, beyond the 98%, there's a 2% where there might be some kind of operator initiated, but machine analysis assisted mitigation. Perhaps it requires an additional authorization or a cross check, like a pre-flight check before launching the mitigation. That takes care of the vast majority of the ones that aren't fully automatic. At the end of the day, we get down to about, a fraction of a percent, maybe even as small as 0.1%, where there's really no substitute for an experienced SOC or security operations center trained individual in helping to figure out how to mitigate an attack. And, whenever they're involved, the goal is always to formalize or enumerate the threat that they find and push it back into the automation pipeline, or upstream of the human. But in all of our experience, that requirement for human involvement has never gone away. We try to minimize it and automate and assist it, but it never goes away. And so that's how humans are involved in the reactive side of an attack's happening. Can you block it fully automatically with human machine assist, or you really need true gray matter human brain power to figure out how to defend against it. But in parallel to those reactive efforts to attacks, you also have proactive or preemptive efforts, and that's kind of the Corero threat research team approach. Again, human-led. This team is constantly looking threat forward into the future, considering possible attacks that have not yet happened out there on the internet or in the world, and this sometimes referred to as zero-day threats. And these folks are using all the tools at their disposal, including AI, to figure out what might happen, what could happen, and how, if that did happen, you could defend against it. And these resulting threat feeds from those forward or proactive looking activities also make their way into the systems that are deployed, and they will play an important part of the core CORE based framework that we're rolling out here. So we're aiming to amplify, if you will, the human ability and automate when it's safe wherever possible. But we don't see a an AI only world in terms of threat response. But we definitely see AI assisted world, and this concept of co-pilots or machine assist, machine program assist is very exciting and very helpful for defending our customers.
Indeed. So really well said. So let's move on to the interoperability and adaptability of Core. So can you discuss a little bit more how Core plans to integrate with third-party network devices and why that interoperability matters for businesses looking to maximize existing security investments?
It's most of our customers. In fact, I can't think of a customer that's not in it for because they're a business. They have
Right.
an economic equation governing their existence, their growth, and their success. So very much in the world of cybersecurity, you have to work with what the customer has or what the customer can afford, and it's not an academic exercise to figure out, if I had unlimited resources and unlimited time and unlimited compute power, what could I do? It's what can I do for the customer within the framework of their budget or their business model. So we've always prioritized integration with what the customer's network is already, how it's designed, understanding their topology, and fitting like a glove really into their plans and protecting them along the way. So we've as a result of that, we've championed the monitoring and control of third-party devices. We have customers with terabits of one vendor's routers around the world. In particular example is Juniper. In 2018, we provided an industry first DDoS detect and mitigate integration with Juniper routers, and all Juniper customers can benefit from that, leveraging the investment they already have rather than having to buy additional hardware. We've also done that, carried that forward to a multi-vendor router world too, through leveraging standards like FlowSpec. And our current SmartWall 1 portfolio, we've opened it up to other devices too. Going forward in the framework we're talking about here, Core, there are so many other devices out there that can be monitored and controlled to be part of the availability, resiliency, DDoS defense system. Technologies like SmartNICs. So our SmartWall 1 family, we now control SmartNICs for detection and mitigation. Software technologies like eBPF in the OS stack, again, they're compatible with this idea of integration and third-party hardware or software devices being used to control attacks or to ensure resilience or to provide feeds for observability. So in general, the idea of detecting and protecting in situ rather than having to change your network or send traffic somewhere remote or backhauling attacks to some central place, that seems to be fading as a legacy approach. And this idea of third control and integration of third-party devices, as well as custom-built mitigation solutions and protection solutions, is rising or growing. And that's why Core, the Corero Core, will have a growing portfolio of third-party monitoring and enforcement points to support this, observability and resiliency mission.
Right. And so with that said, how does Core reduce vendor lock-in, and why would that be important to organizations focusing on their long-term security strategy?
Well, coming at the cybersecurity we're, we've grown from being a small company to a much more significant company. We're listed on the London Exchange. We're trading on the OTCQX in the US. We've never used vendor lock-in. We've never had a size, to use vendor lock-in as a reason people need to buy more of our product. We've always had to earn every deal that we've won, and we think that's a great strategy for us as a business going forward too. So the core ecosystem that we're talking about here, it strives to include rather than exclude our customers' choices for their system or the solution components. So we don't find ourselves going in and telling them that's the wrong device or throw that out and use us. We go in a more consultative way and say, how can we help you secure your network? In the past, it's been always focused on how can we protect them from DDoS. As we move forward, that continues to be our primary mission, but we're adding this capability with Core to say, where else can we help you? We're responding to a lot of their requests for, hey, we like what you do here for DDoS. Could you do the same things for us, with observability of other parts of our network, other parts of our systems, and help us drive up availability, not just by resilience to DDoS attacks, but resilience to other cyber security threats or other non-cyber availability problems. So we're going to go with this incremental, supportive approach for our customers rather than a vendor lock-in kind of approach, Michael.
I love it. So with that said, how can we take advantage of the enhanced network intelligence and data-driven decisions? So more specifically, how does Core's data lake turn isolated events into actionable intelligence, smarter network coordination?
So let me just digest. That was a triple barrel question there. So you're asking how the approach we're taking in Core with data lakes can take events we're gathering or observing and turn them into something the customer can actually use. Well, right. First thing to mention, and because this is a sensitive topic, is we do understand the security and even the security, the importance of their customers' own data. So we've used our multi-tenant history and true partitioning of security for customer data. We're bringing that into the Core approach. So what that means is if you have a data sovereignty concern, either a government regulatory concern or a business concern, we aim to be fully aware of those requirements and show you, through audit trail and through architecture that Core can meet your needs. And I have to say that up front, because if the customer is not comfortable sharing data with you, it's a non-starter. So people sometimes wave their arms and talk about great things they're going to do, but if you don't have the data, and this is even more so true for the world of AI, if you don't have the data, you can't make these informed decisions. If you haven't scraped the web, in the case of large language models, or read all those texts, you don't get to predict what the next word is, or what the next answer should be to that chat GPT query. So in our world, in the cybersecurity world, we've got these modern technology stacks, whether they're mobile, on-prem, colo, cloud, it doesn't matter where they are. They're generating volumes and volumes of monitoring data, security data, status data. The sheer scale of that data is a big problem. And so what we've understood based on our work with, billions, trillions of packets that we've monitored in the past, or the petabytes of data that's flown through networks we're protecting, we understand that you have to recognize the privacy, the encryption, data sovereignty, but you need to extract from that data features that are worth storing in a data lake. If you just throw all the data in there raw, it's too big to actually use. It's unwieldy to use. So we focus in our approach in the past to extracting features, getting it into a data lake, and then we can run these informed queries and analyses on that data, or train on that data, and perhaps get like compression rates of 100 to 1 or even more, and that leads to faster query times or ability to do more sophisticated queries in the same time, or store more chronological data. So the value of our data lake is really based on the work we do pre-processing the information before we put it in there. And then, of course, the data lake makes sure that the people or the processes that want to use that to generate valuable insights to the customer, that they can get to that data in an efficient way. So that's this. Maybe I've extended the description a bit too much there, but that was a very action-packed question there, and hopefully I've covered most of the points you were talking about.
No, it's awesome, and I appreciate you going there. I mean, so what kind of insights can customers expect, and how would you expect that to enhance their overall network resilience?
Well, I think from this approach of storing relevant extracted features for the resiliency and availability space, they can expect 10x or more gains, over what they're used to. So that could mean we could store more attributes than they can today, or that we could look at a year of events rather than a week of events, or we could respond with a signal in a second rather than 10 seconds. So it's this efficiency and effectiveness benefit, I think, that comes from this well thought out approach to storing event data and processing it for actionable results.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So who stands to benefit the most from Core's capabilities? And could you highlight some key industries or types of organizations that might benefit?
I think Core will, or the use of Core will grow from the network stack up. It's not only because it's our heritage, but the internet is still the pathway through which most online business is conducted, and it's also, the doorway through which most threats enter the customer's environment. So I think it's going to be customers and businesses that have a network component to their solution and offering. Obviously, that could be hosting providers, service providers, SaaS providers today, but increasingly, almost everything is online now, and so we're 100% aligned with all those online businesses that need to, have better observability, but also better resilience for their solutions. DDoS is an important part of that, but what we're speaking to with Core is that there are more problems than DDoS out there to solve in order to boost availability of their offerings.
Absolutely. So looking ahead, can you give us a glimpse? So what does a roadmap look like for Core, and are there upcoming features that users should be excited about?
Yeah, what we've announced so far is that the initial offerings based on the Core platform will be related to traffic analysis, and that's, as I mentioned earlier, beyond DDoS analytics. We're looking at expanded botnet protections, which would, expanded could include like outbound bot information, as opposed to DDoS is typically inbound bot, and then also protection for encrypted or what's traditionally called L7 application layer DDoS and beyond. So just the way the industry is changing, everybody's seeing more layer 7 or application layer threats. DDoS is growing too, along with the API threats, but we're going to use that Core as a way to introduce an enhanced L7 protection for our existing customers and also for new customers.
That's really exciting. And so how can businesses planning for future growth make the most of Core as part of their long-term security strategy?
Make the most of it. Well, I think one of the business models or go-to-market models we're pursuing with Core is something that you can try it, because we think you'll like it. So this is going to have a low barrier to entry for our customers or prospects or customers. So Core is going to be about, oh, I like the sound of that, let me give it a try. If you need to know something about your network or your system that your current solution is not telling you or can't provide you with. But also we want customers in that model to tell us what they need and we will help them or advise them on how it can be supported in the core framework. So we don't pretend to know every customer requirement. And in the past, it's served us very well when we've listened to customers and we've delivered solutions that we know they want to buy. That's a very efficient business model for a company like Corero. So my advice would be stay in touch, follow the core evolution, give it a try. We'll be regularly announcing additional capabilities, over the coming months. It's definitely a watch this space, and get it invitation to get involved with us on the core journey, Michael.
For sure. And so I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And Ashley, it was awesome speaking with you today. Eric, thanks for the questions. We're really excited about Core, as you can tell, and we're really excited about the challenges that it aims to solve for businesses. If you're watching today and you want to learn more about Core, we invite you to reach out to us via our website, Corero.com. You can click on the green CTA, speak with a specialist, and one of our knowledgeable experts will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Ashley, thank you again for joining us today, providing such great insight. It's been amazing. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Michael.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.